that an intelligent human being would say, hey, I want to talk to my pastor about this.
Right. Well, you know what, Elder? After 15 years of practicing this culture, Elder, obviously we've taught this inside and out. And what's very sad is that, people who receive this understanding, will go to their pastor and say, okay, wait a minute, I've just made, some contact with those of the Hebraic culture, the Hebraic faith, and they have exposed to me some pretty concrete and hard facts. One of the facts is that you cannot substantiate or validate Christmas from the Bible. In fact, let's go and look at one of the things that we show people. Yeah, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 10. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 10, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1 through 5. It's very, very, very interesting. And the reason, again, the reason that we are doing this program, people, is because this is one of the most celebrated pagan events in the world.
Yes.
Beside Easter. Let me go ahead and pause here. Most High, we're gonna finish it. Okay. We're gonna finish it right now. We just want to go to your word. Okay. Let's see, because we want to show the people. We want to show the people that the Most High made sure that it was documented in the scriptures.
Yes.
Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 1 through 5 reads, "Hear you the word which Yah speaks unto you, O house of Israel." Again, for you viewers, we call the Most High by his biblical name, his scriptural name, his spiritual name, his commanded name, which is Yah. You can give us a call, 704-553-7625. Feel free to call us. Any one of the teachers, any one of the congregants will be more than happy to explain and articulate to you the etymology of the Most High's name. We will be calling his son by his Hebraic name, his birth name, which is Yahshua, which was also commanded. Let's see, Jeremiah 10 verse 1. Hear you the word which Yah speaks unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith Yah. Now these are his words. Learn not the way of the nations, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heaven are dismayed at them. Elder, what would you see would be the commandment in verse 2? The commandment that the Most High gave. What would you see as a commandment?
Do not do what the world is doing.
Do not practice the customs of the world.
Yes.
Do not practice the customs of the world. Then he gives us an example. Or actually, he tells us why. Verse 3, for the customs of the people are vain. The customs of the people are vain. They are futile. They are self-serving, self-righteous. Okay. Then he gives us an example, very profound. For one cuts a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They bring it back home now. They deck it with silver and with gold, and they fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. Can we get a shot on our Christmas tree here, people? What we'd like to do is get a shot on our Christmas tree we have right here. Our camera will be focusing in on it. This is a Christmas tree. Now, they go into the forest and they cut down this evergreen tree. Remember, this is a Germanic custom.
We just saw that in the film.
Correct. They bring it home and they deck it with silver and with gold. They deck it with silver and with gold. The scripture says here, verse 4, they deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but does not speak. I don't see no mouth on the tree. It does not speak. Let's see. They must needs be born because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good. This right here is what people put in their houses. And what we do is we ask people, what does the Messiah have to do with a tree? Was he born under the tree?
In fact, this custom that Jeremiah is speaking about was 583 years before the birth of the Messiah.
Really? 583 years?
Before the birth of the Messiah. That the prophet warned you because he knew the customs that we just saw in that film piece.
583 years. Here's another secular piece of secular material that I have that the audience is going to find fascinating. Let me just stick this here. This is from Babylon Mystery Religion, 1966, 12th printing, page 164. Semiramis, the mother of Tammuz, claimed that overnight an evergreen tree sprang up from a dead tree stump. The dead stump supposedly symbolized her dead husband Nimrod. The new evergreen tree was the symbol that Nimrod had come to life again in the person of Tammuz. Now I'm going to read this again. Semiramis, the mother of Tammuz. So this goes back to Babylonian theology,
yes.
right? And if we remember Nimrod was the first ruler upon the face of this earth, one of the sons of Ham, right? In fact, he was Ethiopian.
Yes.
And he is credited with a lot of the paganistic practices that's in the world today, especially that's in Christendom today,
yes.
sadly. But again, Semiramis, the mother of Tammuz, which is the wife of Nimrod, claimed that overnight an evergreen tree sprang up from a dead tree stump. The dead stump supposedly symbolized her dead husband, Nimrod. The new evergreen tree was a symbol that Nimrod had come to life again in the person of Tammuz. Again, this is from our source, Ralph Woodrow, Babylon Mystery Religion, 1966, 12th printing, page 164. Here's another secular source. This is from the Illuminati 666, 1983, pages 156 through 157, and it reads, according to William Josiah Sutton in his book Illuminati 666, ancient warlike Germanic people. Now it's very interesting that when we began this program, right, it's beginning with the rituals and the festivals of the Germans.
Yes.
Says here, ancient warlike Germanic people promised their god, whose name was Tiwaz, that if he would give them victory over their enemy, they would give to their god all the spoils of the battle. Like the Babylonians, they believed their gods could transform themselves into trees. If the god answered their prayers, they took their dead victim's head. My goodness. If the god answered their prayers, they took their dead victims' heads and gold and silver. Can we get a camera shot back on this, please, here? I'll read again here. Let's see. If the god answered their prayers, they took their dead victim's head and gold and silver gathered from war and dragged them to their sacred tree where they hung and decorated their god. This begat the origin of hanging ornaments from the Christmas tree. So people, this is, as you review, the silver and the gold was once the wealth, if you will, from the Germanic groups, adversaries,
spoils of war.
Correct, the spoils of war. And so what they did, as I understand it, Elder, certainly correct me if I'm wrong. So when they were victorious, when they defeated their enemy, they looted the gold, the silver, and they brought the gold and the silver back, and they threw the gold and the silver on the tree, which was actually their god, Tiwaz, or other deities, if you will, and the heads of their enemy, they hung on the tree. So today we have bulbs that's hung on the tree,
symbolizing that
to
tradition.
Symbolize heads, right? We're going to find later in this program that that they began to change that with apples, okay, and then to the bulbs that they have today. But the gold and the silver were actually, what they had looted from their rival group, or from the tribal, But the point that we really do not want the viewer to miss here is that tree that people go out each year at Christmas time and spend their money for is actually a pagan god. Right.
The tree symbolized the resurrection of Nimrod, and they were decking their god, the tree.
Okay.
And people go and pay their money and cut it down and put it in their home
Right.
as a Christmas tradition.
Right,
Not really understand